Super Bowl. So let's look for some Super Bowl statements. Danny, give me a player that needs to have a standout game in Super Bowl 50 now.
I'm going to say Devontae Smith. Out of all due respect to A.J. Brown, I just don't think the Chiefs are going to give him a ton of opportunities. He's played against the Chiefs 3 times. In all 3 of those games, 6+ catches. In all 3 of those games, 99+ yards. In all 3 of those games, at least 2 explosive plays. I firmly believe that defensively, Kansas City is going to go. We're going to do everything we can to stop the run. We're going to try to limit A.J. Brown. Devontae Smith, who's been a little bit quiet over the past month or so, has to have a big game for them to score enough and beat Kansas City.
Lewis.
I'm going to say it's Nick Bolton, because you know what they want to do to Kansas City's defense? They want to put the ball in the hand of Jalen Hurts, and they want Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown to be frustrated because they can't get the ball to him, to their wide receivers. Nick Bolton has to play the game of his life. He has to be very sure and solid and consistent as far as setting the front, as far as taking on blocks, getting off blocks, and tackling. No yards after contact. And then when they do put the ball in the air, he has to patrol the middle of the field. He has to have an MVP caliber performance.
Graziano.
I say Jalen Hurts, and because I interpret the question a little differently. I think these guys are saying who needs to make a statement in order for the team to win. I'm talking about who needs to make a statement big picture. Jalen Hurts, this is how quarterbacks are judged. This is how quarterbacks' legacies are judged. Did you win the big one? And here's a second opportunity in 3 years for Jalen Hurts to do something that says, I belong in the conversation with the very best quarterbacks in this league right now, with the very best quarterbacks of my era. I think a win and a strong performance by Jalen Hurts would be massive for the way we look at him.
It's an important point because there aren't that many active starting quarterbacks in the NFL who have won Super Bowls at this point. Yeah, it's not that big a number. Jalen Hurts can join it. And yesterday they had all the media stuff, and Hurts was asked what he has learned since playing in his first Super Bowl 2 years ago.
I've learned so much. You know, it's the same as any other game. And, you know, I think the moments are the moments, but ultimately, you know, every game has its lessons, good, bad, or indifferent. It had a great driving force. It lit a flame, lit a fire in me. And to have this opportunity again, it's exactly what you work for.
So, Orlovsky, I'm looking at your notes, and it says this will be Jalen Hurts' biggest challenge of the season. Why?
I'd say it's Jalen Hurts' biggest challenge since that Super Bowl, because the reasons and the moments he's played well this season and recently has been when teams have kind of just played that one-on-one coverage. And he's been able to throw the ball to a soft coverage or one-on-one to a Devontae Smith on an outbreaker. And they've been great throws. I mean, this is when he's at his best, when he has a very clear understanding, like, oh, you're playing my guys one-on-one, and I could throw the ball on an outbreaker or a corner route or a go route to A.J. Brown. It's kind of what Washington did in the NFC Championship game. He is not going to get that against the Kansas City Chiefs. This game is going to come down to, can Jalen Hurts do 2 things? Number 1, can you see the picture change? Spags in this Kansas City defense is the biggest lying defense in the league. You as a quarterback get to line of scrimmage, you think you know what's happening or what they're in, and it totally changes after the snap. So that is going to be the challenge for Jalen Hurts, number 1. Number 2, you are going to get defensive back blitzes against Kansas City and Spags. It is going to happen. That is something that Jalen, versus this team specifically, has very much so struggled with. Can he see the picture change, and can he handle the defensive back blitz? That will be the key to this game.
So I asked this same question to Louis Riddick, and he mentioned a different fellow named Jalen. And when I said in the tease, we're going to give you the one player who can win this game for the Eagles, and it's not the one you're thinking of. It's Jalen Carter we were talking about. And, Louis, I just want to show you these 2 videos as you take it over for us here. The video that Dominique Foxworth showed us, first, the game that he just completely destroyed against the Rams. He ended this game basically by himself.
That's a ridiculous move.
But then the Zero Fox video, this is Jalen Carter doing things that people his size are not supposed to be able to do. So look at that.
Yeah.
That's the one that jumped off the page. Come on.
Look, seriously. So, look, seriously. You see what just happened right there?
Yes, that's the one.
You know how heavy my man's hands are? And he uses this club rip move. That's just the right cross, but that's, you know, that's
just punched
that's
the man
illegal.
in the face.
But it's against the rules.
But just think about this, okay? I want you to, when you watch this game on Sunday, what time is kickoff? 6:15 Eastern time,
like
6:30 Eastern time. He lines up predominantly at the left 3 technique, outside shade of the right guard. And the guy he's going to be going up against, I promise you, ain't going to take that. It's a guy by the name of Trey Smith from the Kansas City Chiefs. who is built like a cinder block, about 5 of them across, okay, and Creed Humphrey, who's one of the best centers, if not the best center in the NFL. Jalen Carter versus these guys is going to be like Godzilla versus Kong. That's what it's going to be like. It will measure on the Richter scale every single time they go because Jalen is so fast off the ball, and he'll be gone in an instant. He can beat you with power. He can beat you with speed. He plays with great body tilt. He doesn't play up and down. He plays with forward lean. He jumps off the ball. When he puts his hands on you, as you see right here, he just controls you. He's got the agility to be able to turn the corner. Just look how fast that is. Look how fast that swat and rip is. He's by the center in no time. Then he's going to tell you about it. He needs to have one of those moments. Remember the Super Bowl between the Bengals and the Rams where Aaron Donald basically saved the day for the Rams. Because Joe Burrow was about to break their heart. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of moment Jalen Carter needs to have in this fourth quarter of this game where Patrick's about to rip their heart out and he takes it back from him. He needs to make that kind of play.
Yeah. They asked Jalen Carter last night at the media night, what's one of the keys to slowing down Mahomes? And his answer was, well, one thing you can do is sack him, which sounds easy, but it's been very difficult for people to do in the postseason. And if Jalen Carter can figure out a way to do it, then that gives him an edge over everybody else the Chiefs have seen.
Am I old enough to remember when Kansas City's offensive line was a liability? I mean, weren't we sitting here having that? So shouldn't this be where this game gets decided?
No, so 2 things. One, ever since they've moved Joe Thuney out to left tackle, their field goal better, his QBR is better, less sacks. So that move in many ways saved their season. The second thing is, I agree with Lewis's point, but to Lewis's point, more often than not, Carter's going to be lined up on Kansas City's right, which is Trey Smith, which is like battle versus battle. I mean, you called it what, Godzilla versus Godzilla?
Godzilla versus Kong.
So it is like kind of great versus great.
Yeah,
if he was on the left side versus Caliendo, maybe a little bit greater advantage.
Which is probably something you should look out for. As you sit there and you're watching it, you're going, if you're Jalen Carter, you're going, why am I dealing with this dude? Maybe I should walk over here.
I'd also say this. If they are going to consistently line them up to the right, then go outside of Nolan Smith, because then it becomes Nolan Smith versus Jawan Taylor, and that's advantage Philly.
Okay, so we've got that little battle within the battle to keep an eye on. And then there are the superstars in this one, none bigger, of course, than Patrick Mahomes. And last night at the media festivities, he was talking about the way his team is perceived. Listen.
We embrace who we are, and we believe we play the game the right way. We believe that we play with a lot of heart and a lot of passion for the game, and then we win football games. And if winning football games makes you a villain, we're going to keep going out there and doing it.
So the whole villain storyline is fascinating to me. It's as though the entire sports world, or the entire world, just started watching sports this week. This sort of been the way it always goes, right? Teams win all the time. Yeah. This just happened with the Patriots in this generation. I'm not sure where everyone has been. But okay, so putting that aside for the moment, Patrick Mahomes versus this defense.
Dude, this is strength on strength. This is the most fascinating part of this game. If you think of this Kansas City offense and Mahomes versus Philadelphia's defense, number one, Kansas City's offense, one of the foundation of it is motion. They motion at the top 5. If you go back to the Super Bowl 2 years ago, why was the game won? Because those 2 late motion plays down in the red zone when Philadelphia was completely unaware and unprepared for it wins the game. This defense in Philadelphia this year is great versus motion. The best defense in football, QBR-wise, in yards per play. So strength of Kansas City's offense, strength of Philadelphia's defense. Second thing, yards after the catch, strength of Kansas City's offense. It's the foundation of who they are. No defense in the NFL runs to the football better than Philadelphia's, punches at the football in that moment better than Philadelphia's, and gets more people to the football in those moments than Philadelphia's. It's the strength of Kansas City's offense versus the strength of Philadelphia's defense.
You were talking about the receivers, particularly the Chiefs' speedy receivers.
Yeah, look, no one does a better job in the entire NFL of scouting an opponent and picking out matchups and putting the people where they can then get open.
Yeah.
Andy Reid is the master at doing this. I know it. I've seen it firsthand. Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy are the 2 guys who now have to show up just like they did. See, this is the beginning of the game. This is the first drive in the AFC title game. And all of a sudden people are going, where's Hollywood Brown been? And Patrick's like, you know what, I'm going to feed him, I'm going to feed him, I'm going to feed him. And then here, this touchdown to Xavier Worthy, they moved him inside to their 3-by-1, and they said, you know what, we're going to get you one-on-one against DeMar Hamlin. DeMar Hamlin, I love you, bro. I love you. You know that. You are no match for the speed of Xavier Worthy, and Andy Reid knows that, and there's nobody better. Those 2 have ascended at the right time. Xavier is taken off. Hollywood is...
And they'll try again, 2nd and 10. They'll fake the handoff. Now Smith. And he's taken down. This will be a Brown sack.
Okay, you know my bias is about to come out here. A lot of people would think that the offense is just moving in the wrong direction. I'd say they're moving in the right direction because the defense is pushing them back.
Former defensive guy. Now, as a quarterback, 3rd and long, you really got to rally the troops here, don't you?
Yeah, you're doing a big way, and what else do you have to look out for? More pressure coming at you because it seems to be working pretty well.
3rd and long, it's Smith escaping the pressure right. Slings this deep. This is caught inside the 15. And he takes it in. Touchdown, Washington. Capital at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. They love their football in this part of the country, and this crowd is ready to go as their guys will match up with the Buffalo Bills. Two teams more than ready to get this one started. And we are underway from FedEx Field. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Bringing it out of his end zone, Isaiah. And all deep in his own territory. He coughs up the football.
That's what it is, baby. That's
and
what
he
it
will
is.
score. Touchdown, Washington. John Bates. Excellent work there to get in on the touchdown run. And Washington has tied the ball game with the extra point still to come. Now it's Hopkins to add the extra point. And with that, his guys take the lead here by a point.
A pretty decent game. Other quarterbacks, they have a hard time getting past it and often put the ball up for grabs the rest of the ball game.
And a productive gain out to the 14 after starting at the 7. It's a gain of 7. 7 yards the pick up there. 3 yards remain for 2nd down. Fitzpatrick now. Slings this deep from McLaurin. It got his man complete. And all the way down to the 24-yard line. Quite a show of arm strength right there. That was in the air for a long time, and it was on target, too.
And from where we sit, if you had told me that that ball was somehow going to get from point A to point B, I would have told you no way. I mean, that was an absolute cannon shot. And he still dropped it right on the money, too.
And that ball traveling 68 yards in the air, according to Next.